I have been ignoring the cards. Positive vibes. People aren't meant to be perfect. Except for me, this doesn't apply. I am perfect. I never make any mistakes. My opinion is the end all be all. And well, sucks to be y'all, really. This is one that I want to say I began developing a relationship with, you could say, around 3 years ago. And the reason I remember it specifically is because it aligns with the time I met somebody in my life who immediately, right off the bat, told me that I need to learn to not be so hard on myself. And at the time, it didn't make sense because the way I operate has always been that I like to do things pretty much as expected, do things by the book. I like order. I like for things to be organized. I like for things to function properly without unnecessary drama, unnecessary disorganization. I just cannot thrive in chaos. And it's a shame that I say that because if you look at my room, it's nothing but chaos. But I want to say that's when I began to express finally that I'm not meant to be perfect and I'm not meant to have everything together. Now, when I think about this, as soon as I hear it, people are not meant to be perfect. I feel relief because I feel like I was raised, as I said before in a past topic, very, I guess you could say, militarized. It was with structure, order, too much perfection expected out of me, like, say, bring straight A's and keep your room tidy at all times, be dressed well at all times. And in a sense, I feel like I'm grateful that I was inculcated those things that unfortunately in society, there are times in which being able to do those things and express yourself like that and look outwardly well put together is valued. But I also feel like in some stages, in some instances, I wasn't able to be a kid. I wasn't able to be a child. I was able to be a child when I was at home. But outside of home, unless it was something like some kind of birthday party or something like that, it was just very like strict because the places I would be at would be places like medical facilities because my brother had a ton of issues. That's not a place for a child. And school grounds because my mom was a teacher. Sure, I'm a child. Children are the reason for school at that level. But once again, I feel like I cannot be a child because during my mom's meetings and trainings like that, I cannot be behaving like a child could be expected to behave. And it's not like I was actively present in the meetings, but because of who I was the daughter of this one influential teacher. Then imagine if I were acting like a clown, I would have had my teeth knocked out. I would have them knocked out for lesser things. It's one of those things where I can think of how I was raised and be like, I was raised under a lot of stress. And because of that stress, the whole point was to make me not be problematic so that I don't complicate the life of an adult. But when I think about my life now and think in retrospect what it is that I needed, I could say this is a big part of what I needed. I needed to be allowed to not be so damn perfect. And while I'm not being perfect, don't insult me. My hair had always been an issue back in those days because my hair is bad. It's horrible. It's the kind of hair that you gotta take care of it a certain way so that it doesn't look like it's all over and all frizzied up. And that is a hideous appearance. I can show you guys. One day I'm gonna make a video when my hair hasn't been done anything to, and I will have laid down, being out in the wind, and worn a hat. Just those things so that you see what I mean. It's kind of like my hair takes the shape of whatever activity I was doing, but really extra. And I understand mom's pressure to be like, that looks ugly, that doesn't look good on you, this and that. But the problem is that that negative criticism became what outweighed anything else. I was never told nice things. It was rare I was given compliments. And the only times I would be giving compliments, it's pretty much after, say, my mom put together a look on me that when I looked at myself, I thought I look fucking ugly. In a sense, it's kind of a personality issue. I felt like it was hard for me to fit in places because I have always been very honest, and the times as a kid I had a tendency to lie. I was trying to lie to be liked based off the setting I was at because, at my default, being simple, I wasn't cool. I guess I would try to lie to sound like I'm cooler than I'm really supposed to be. But if I didn't do that, then I felt like I couldn't survive. Then eventually, as I got older, that's when my, I guess, inherent honesty as a child that you have began to show up again. Because as a teen, I was doing nothing but trying to cultivate my honesty and let it be what governs no matter what. Let it be eventually at my job, eventually in relationships, stuff like that. I was always brutally honest. I think you're supposed to be honest and be able to take it. So when I began to express myself honestly, as I truly felt, as I truly saw things, it began to shock the people around me. Because again, I was under the spell of this is the behavior that is expected of me and the role that I'm supposed to play. It was kind of like be a diplomat for someone else because you don't matter. This is bigger than you. And in that quest, I guess you could say I let go of myself. I let go of myself to be perfect. In a setting, I wasn't meant to be perfect, especially since I was not being me. I hope that makes sense. I agree with this 100%. And anyone out there who feels pressure or stress, things like that, try to consider what exactly it is that's making you feel that way. Is it that you're in a place that you don't belong in, but you feel compelled to be there? Is it that you are being too hard on yourself because that was a past expectation put on you by somebody else that you haven't broken from? And who are you? What are you? And if the person you are doesn't have room for flaws, then you can expect to have a little bit of a rougher time. But if you're someone who's like hoping and your goal is to just be a little less complicated, a little bit more realistic, I guess, in your approach to life, then be this. Be the person who's not meant to be perfect because we're not meant to be perfect. Out of mistakes is usually how we make discoveries and progress, if you ask me. I truly enjoyed talking about this one because an ongoing joke that I have with my manager at work and with another of my immediate colleagues is this is an older lady. She goes, well, the problem with him, talking about my manager, is that he's perfect and he's never wrong. And then in the past, I have told my manager way before Homegirl was hired that I'm perfect, I don't make any mistakes, and he has to accept that if he wants to have a good time in my department now that he has arrived. And then eventually he was reverse joking on me, talking about how perfect I am, even when I would make mistakes. And it was just so funny because he was entertaining my personality. And eventually, I guess he secretly had a sense of humor and personality that you could say is compatible with mine because it's like a sense of humor that combined, it makes everything be so freaking funny. It's like compatible. So then it became that he started saying similar shit to what I was saying, but saying it against me. And then I thought, well, too bad. You're perfect, but you're perfect only when I'm not here. As soon as I get here, I'm the one who's perfect. I'm the manager around here. You get to hold the job and the title because I don't have time for it. I don't have time to be full time in this place. Shit like that. And it was just funny because I needed, I guess, a person like that who maybe At some point in his life, he might have been holding himself to a very high standard and crazy expectations of himself, to finally be like, this is an honest person giving me an honest reflection on myself. It's like he took the mirror I had. I guess my mirror was shattered, and he took a brand new mirror and handed it to me. And now I'm looking at myself off the reflection of that mirror that doesn't have shards in it, that mirror that's not cracked or broken. And it's been great. It's been fundamental to my development. And that's one of the influences and one of the reasons I can say that for you guys who have been around for so long, if you observed a change in my demeanor, I guess a shift in how I expressed myself in my videos, I want to say that was the catalyst. That was like, you could say that the seed had been planted by previous people, but I want to say that's when the seed truly began to be watered and then bloom into what you see today. All right, that's it. Bye.